A very good afternoon. Am I audible, ma'am?
Yes, Sharmila.
A very good afternoon and a warm welcome to one and all present here. I, Sharmila, Faculty Department of Commerce, take this opportunity to welcome Professor Sushma Shri, Head Department of Commerce, Professor Vanessa, Professor Savita, Professor Anbarasi, and my dear students. Success is easy to achieve once you set your mind on a specific goal. The harder you work towards your goal, the greater you'll feel when you achieve it. That's exactly, students, why we are here today. As a Department of Commerce has organized this orientation program in order to educate you all about the various specializations offered at Indian Academy Degree College Autonomous in the final year of the BCom course. In helping you all achieve your goals, we intend to guide you and help you choose the specializations which is going to be suitable at an individual level. So today we start off. I will be introducing you all to the core subjects of the 5th and the 6th semester. Students, you all will observe. Before I start, I just want to tell you all one thing. You will be given time to raise your concerns and queries at the end of the session. Kindly don't interrupt any of the faculty in between the presentation. Thank you. So I will start with the core subjects of the 5th semester. If you observe against each of these subjects, you will see alphabets P and T. P stands for practical subjects where you will have problems. You'll have to calculate problems, and T stands for a theory subject. Okay, so starting with the first one, which is costing methods. Costing methods is an extension of cost accounting, what you have learned. So here in costing methods, you will learn how to evaluate information. Whatever information is given, you will be taught how to evaluate and understand a certain information for ascertaining the cost, whether it's of a job, batch, or a process, or a contract, how you are going to ascertain cost for these various processes, how are you going to plan your various costs, the control measures that can be adopted to reduce the cost and minimize wastages or losses, overall helping the company and as an individual to make decisions regarding the same. So this is what you will be introduced, and you will work out problems under each of these categories. The next subject is a practical subject, which is income tax 1. You will have income tax in both the semesters, 5th as well as the 6th semester. In the 5th semester, income tax 1, we will be looking at introducing you to the basic concepts. You need to understand there are various terms like assessee, previous year, residential status. So it basically introduces you to the concepts of taxing, of understanding the process of arriving at your taxable income. So we look at various categories like income from salary, or if you're looking at property tax, how do you ascertain the residential status of a person, if you are a citizen or if you are an NRI. Okay, what are the exemptions? If you want to file tax, what are the exemptions you can claim? So this is what you will be taught in IT 1. The third subject is entrepreneurship development. It's a purely theory subject. Now here you will be taught to build your entrepreneurial skills. Entrepreneurship is nothing but starting business on your own. Today we see Bangalore is a hub for startups. So this subject kind of draws the pathway for those who are interested in starting businesses of their own. The sources from where you can raise your funds. What are the requisites when you have to start a business? Whom can you approach for funds? How can you go about this process? Right? How should you be equipped? What are the skills required? How do you prepare a business plan in order to attract investors and to get your loans sanctioned if in case you're borrowing loan for a business? So entrepreneurship kind of, builds your entrepreneurship skills. The fourth subject is a practical subject. which is called IFRS in short form, International Financial Reporting Standards. Now, this is it's a foreign standard. It's an international standard. In India, we already have an existing Indian accounting standards. Okay, standards we all understand are the rules or the principles followed in bookkeeping when we prepare our various accounts. IFRS was brought in to kind of each country has its own different methods of accounting, right? So the accounting bodies felt, the governing authorities, they felt that you should have a uniform method of preparing accounts, irrespective of which country or which continent you belong to. That is why IFRS was brought in. So IFRS aims at bringing uniformity in the accounting standards. So here you're going to be introduced again, what are the various IFRS standards in comparison to IND-AS, that is Indian accounting standards. What is the difference? What happens when you merge? If Indian companies have to accept IFRS, what are the changes in their books of accounts? So this is what you will be learning under IFRS. This is the 5th semester and I'm only dealing with the core subjects. The elective papers will be handled by the other faculty. I'm moving on to the 6th semester. There we have business regulations, which is a theory subject again. Business regulations, as the term goes, it is going to introduce you to the laws, rules, regulations, whenever you are carrying out a business. How do you understand a contract? How do you perform a contract? What are the do's and don'ts? Then also introduces you to other types of laws, contract law, competition law, environment protection law, consumer protection. So you will be learning the rules in and out of business. It is a very interesting subject. You will learn a lot here. The next one is principles and practices of auditing. Again, a purely theory paper. This again kind of gives you a groundwork. I mean, it's like a basic foundation course for all those who are aspiring to pursue chartered accountancy, who want to do your CA, who are very, very interested in becoming an auditor. So this gives you a good start, a good platform to understand the foundations. Okay, so in auditing, you're going to understand who is an auditor, what are the qualifications required of an auditor, what are the powers, duties, responsibilities of an auditor, how does he go about doing his work of auditing, verifying, vouching. So these are the concepts you will learn here. The third one is Income Tax 2. This is the second paper of Income Tax. Again, a practical subject. IT2 gives you a little extended assessing your taxable income. Here also you will understand how you arrive at the taxable income of other professions like businesses, capital gains, income from other sources. How will you file them? If you have to file a returns and you have income coming from various sources, you have investments, you have national savings certificate, you have a savings account. How do you arrive at the taxable income? And eventually, how can you claim deductions or exemptions from the total income that you're earning annually? The last one here is management accounting. It's again a practical subject, a combination of theory and practical actually. Management accounting is another branch of accounts. Like you learn financial accounting, cost accounting. Management accounting is another branch of accounts altogether. It's a very interesting subject. Again, this touches your fundamentals of accounts. You should be very strong in your ledger when you start doing management accounting. So here you will learn how to analyze ratios, how to analyze fund flow, inflows and outflow of cash. How do you prepare a report? Now say you're an accountant or you're a manager somewhere. This subject helps you to prepare a good sound report on any crisis or any requirement according to the client, what your company expects of you. So this is just an overview of the core subjects of the 5th and 6th subjects. I now move on to just a reminder, this core subjects which I've discussed is for the general students, general BCom students. I now hand over to Sushma ma'am to elaborate us on the core papers for banking and insurance students. Sushma ma'am?
Yes, thank you, Ms. Sharmila.
Yes.
Good afternoon, my dear colleagues, faculties who joined us, fourth semester class teachers, and a very warm good afternoon to the 207 students across 4 sections of BCom who have shown interest in deciding your future, at least one of the steps towards your future, which is deciding or choosing your electives in the final year. In June, when we finish your semester exams and when you are in the final year, in fifth and sixth semester, you will be exposed or you will have the option of choosing your area of interest. That is where we call it as specialization. Before I head into the specializations in particular, I would like to keep you informed. This set of students that we have currently, we have BCom General and BCom Banking and Insurance students. So now whatever Ms. Sharmila took you through is the core papers in the sense, whether you are a banking student or finance student or marketing student, you will learn these core papers. All the 4 sections of students will learn these mandatory papers called the core papers. However, when compared to BCom General, BCom BI students, you will have a small change in the core papers. If you see costing methods in the 5th semester, costing methods, income tax 1, IFRS, that is International Financial Reporting Standards. All these 3 papers are the same as your general friends. BCom General students also learn the same. However, in general, you have entrepreneurship development. That paper for banking students is shifted to 6th semester. You learn this paper a little later. Which one? Entrepreneurship development. However, the 6th semester paper called Principles and Practices of Auditing, which is again a core paper in 6th semester, is advanced to 5th semester. That is all is the difference for BI students in terms of core papers. And you are at an advantage that you learn 2 additional core papers. In 5th semester, you learn risk management, which is a completely theory paper. And in 6th semester, you will learn another core paper called insurance salesmanship. When I have to brief you about what do you actually cover under risk management, you being BCom banking and insurance students, whether you look into the sector of banking or insurance or any financial sector for that matter, every business is governed by various types of risks. And you as BCom students should be aware of what are these various types of risks. How do you manage them? What are the financial instruments which you can use to hedge over these risks? All that knowledge you will gain in this paper called risk management. Again, I repeat, what is mentioned as T are theory papers. What is mentioned as P is practical papers. Basically, they are numericals. Similarly, if you look at the 6th semester, you have insurance salesmanship. Sales as such sounds very simple and easy to do, but it is one of the toughest careers that one can actually crack and make it up. But if you are good at sales, if you have the confidence and communication to convey and convince your prospective customer, you will make the best in the industry in terms of remuneration and all the fringe benefits that come along with salesmanship. So here BI students will learn about, in particular, how to go about salesmanship for insurance products. Insurance as such is an intangible product. How do you push or how do you convince customers to buy insurance? Whether it is life insurance, general insurance, or health insurance. In the current scenario, what we are going through, the pandemic, health insurance is the most sought after. Because everybody is going through hospitalization, medication charges, and it's at skyrocket prices. So if customers or if people have medical insurance, it becomes a blessing in disguise. It comes like a gift in this kind of pandemic situations. So what I'm trying to tell you is the relevance of this subject to your future in terms of BCom BI. For BCom BI students, please note you will have in 5th and 6th semester, each semester you will have 5 core papers that you need to have to learn, unlike BCom General. Core papers more or less are just shuffled, but otherwise you learn additional papers called risk management and insurance salesmanship in the 6th semester. I hope this is clear about the core papers for banking and insurance students of BCom. One important thing that I would like to keep you all informed, BCom General or BCom BI, at the end of your degree, you will get a convocation certificate coming in from the university, parent university, and that convocation certificate will ultimately tell that you are a BCom student specializing in finance, accounts, banking and insurance, or marketing. You do not get categorized saying you're a BCom finance student. Just one sentence is added in the convocation which says that you have specialized in this subject. Please remember, when you're choosing these specializations, it is dependent on whether you're going for career progression or you're going for academic progression. If you're looking at pursuing higher studies, then accordingly in your area of interest, you should choose the elective now so that your fundamentals are well taken care at the undergraduate program level. All right. So, Ms. Sharmila, can we move on?
Yes, ma'am.
Thank you.
Students, if you all can observe, our college will be offering 4 electives for you all in the final year. 1 accounts, 2nd finance, then banking and insurance, and the 4th one being marketing. Now, each of these electives will be explained in detail by the respective faculty. I request Professor Anvarasi to elaborate on the accounts specialization.
Thank you, ma'am. Good afternoon, everyone. I hope you're all doing good. Let me take you all through the subjects what we'll be studying and the career opportunities you will have if you choose account specialization. As you all can see in the slide, in your 5th semester, you will be studying advanced accounting and GST. In your 6th semester, you will study cost management and business taxation. All the 4 papers are practical papers. I'll repeat again, all 4 papers are practical papers. So let's understand them in detail. So first we have advanced accounting. In this subject, you will be learning about different types of accounting, and you will also learn how to prepare the books of accounts for various organizations. Example, you will learn about banking companies, insurance companies, farm accounting, investment accounting, and inflation accounting. So end of this course, you will be knowing how to prepare financial statement for the organization and schedules in case of your banking companies. If you all don't know what is financial statement is a report which will have all the information relating to an organization. Okay, so that's about your advanced accounting. Then we have GST. Few years back in India, we had separate tax for goods and services. So we had VAT and service tax. But now we just have one tax, which is GST. So it's very necessary for all of us to know about this tax. So in the subject, you will be learning about GST from the scratch. That is, what is GST, how it was implemented, and what are the different types of GST which is there in India, how taxes are calculated in GST Act. So all that you will be learning under this subject. Then in your 6th semester, you will study about cost management. This paper is a continuation, or I can say it's an advanced level of your cost management, what you'll be studying in your 5th semester. That's your core paper, and the 4th semester cost accounting paper. Okay, so in your cost management, you will learn how to control and reduce the cost, of the organization. And you will also learn about marginal costing, standard costing, and budget. So when you complete this course, you will be knowing how to calculate and reduce the cost for the organization, and you will also know how to prepare the budgets. Okay. Then the last paper is business taxation. Here, this paper is a continuation of your GST, that's your goods and service tax. Both these papers talk about indirect taxes. Now, what is indirect tax? A tax which is charged on the goods and services is called as indirect tax. Okay, so in your business taxation, you will learn about all those indirect tax provisions which was not covered in your GST. Okay, and other than that, you will also be learning how the firms and the companies are assessed for income tax purpose. Okay. So the course outcome of business taxation is you will get to know how companies are assessed for your income tax calculation, and how to calculate the tax for import and export, how to file returns, when you should file returns, what is the importance of filing the returns. So all that you will get to know under your business taxation. So that's about the papers you will be studying under account specialization. Now let us understand the career opportunities. So as you all can see in the slide, these are the career opportunities which is available for account specialization. Let me very briefly tell you all the role of these people in an organization. Okay, so let's start with auditor. An auditor is a person who will review, he'll verify the financial statement, what is prepared by the organization. That's the management. So they will check whether the management is recorded the information properly. Have they followed the accounting standards? Have they done any frauds? So all that will be checked by the auditor. Next, you have a business accountant. So this person will be recording the transaction on a day-to-day basis. So that is whatever transaction happens in an organization. So he will be recording them on a day-to-day basis. Then you have a financial controller. This is the highest post or the senior most post in the accounting career. Okay, so he will be preparing the FS. He will check whether company has followed the accounting standards. He will also prepare budgets for the company, and he will also be involved in all the important meetings and the decisions which will be taken by the organization. Then you have a company secretary. Okay, so this person, you call it as CS. Okay, so here this person will be involved in checking whether company is complied the statutory and the regulatory requirements which is given by the government. That is whether company is following all the rules and regulations which is given by the government or for that particular sector. So they'll check whether everything is complied by the company. And your company secretary also will check that whether the decisions which is taken by the board of directors are implemented in the organization. Okay, so these are the two important things which your company secretary will be doing. Then we have a tax consultant. Okay, so he is the one who will be helping individuals as well as the organizations about how to pay tax, when to file the returns, how much to file the returns, on which day to file the returns. And since it's our money, we don't like to pay too much of tax to the government. So this tax consultant also will help people in telling them how they can reduce the tax in a legal manner. That is by using the deductions which is available under the Income Tax Act and under the Indirect Tax Act. Next, you have a finance expert. So this person, he will analyze the financial data. Now, when I say analyze the financial data, means whatever data that is there in the organization, that is your income statement, your balance sheet. Okay, so all this person will analyze, and he will try to find out the position of the company. That is, are this company in a good position? Okay, so your financial expert will try to find out the position of the company, and this person also will prepare budgets, and he will also be involved in benchmarking analysis. Okay, benchmark is like a standard which is set by the company. Okay, so he will do analysis to check whether company has met that benchmark or not. If they have not met the benchmark, what is the reason behind it? So all that reasons will be analyzed by this person. Okay, so that's about the career opportunities. I hope you all understood. Thank you, ma'am. Over to Shavila, ma'am.
Thank you, Anbarasi. Now I'd request Ms. Vanessa to continue with finance elective.
Am I audible, ma'am?
Yes, Vanessa.
Thank you, ma'am. Good afternoon, respected Sushma ma'am, Chandan sir, all the 4th SEM class teachers, and a very good afternoon, my dear students. Today, I will be talking about the finance elective subjects, and I will be focusing on introducing the finance specialization subjects in the 5th and the 6th semester. So as I take you all through the 5th and the 6th semester finance elective subjects, I will also be representing to you all whether the particular subject is theory or it's a practical base. So let's begin. To begin with, the 5th semester, firstly, the subject we have here is International Financial Management. This is purely a finance-based elective subject. And international financial management is also known as the international finance. And in this subject, we will be focusing on the management's finance in an international business environment, such as how we will be trading with finance and how do we make money out of it, and how do we invest in the various portfolios and how do we make money out of it. And we will also be learning about how the exchange of foreign currency happens through the international business, focusing on the international financial system, mainly the international financial management. And this particular subject here, it aims at international monetary cooperation and the exchange stability here. In other words, if I have to say, we will be focusing on the economic growth levels of employment, like handling imbalance of payments. How do we compute receipts and payments in an international standard of handling finance? And as well as we will also know about how finance is really, as we all know the statement, that it is the lifeblood of business. So when we say the statement, we will also be focusing on how adequately we focus on the working capital, which is very important for every organization. So all such concepts with a purely finance background is what we will be learning in this subject, International Financial Management. So moving to the next finance elective in the 5th semester, which is Goods and Services Tax. Just to add on to what Anbarasi ma'am previously spoke about this subject, I'm going to be specifically focusing on how in the recent times the nation's development has been focused on the GST and how was it introduced as an indirect tax, which is used in India on the supply of goods and services. And this particular finance elective subject is a combination of both theory as well as a practical. Okay, and in the theory part of it, you will all be learning the various acts like GST, central GST, state GST, integrated GST, the various acts you all will be learning. And also, we will be specifically focusing on how GST was introduced. And in the practical part of the subject, we will be learning how to compute and how to come to an assessment of returns with the GST technology. So that's about the 5th semester finance elective subjects, that is International Financial Management and Goods and Services Tax. Moving on to the 6th semester subjects, that's the finance specialization papers. Firstly, you have performance management in the 6th semester. And this subject is going to completely focus on the finance techniques of the management's performance, as the title itself talks about it. Here, we will be analyzing costing and also a few management accounting concepts. And I can definitely assure you this paper is completely fun to learn as well as to be taught. As we are going to not just compute and arrive at a solution, we're also going to be analyzing, we're going to be reasoning, and we're going to draw at a conclusion. So it's definitely a very interesting paper while talking about the financial performance of every management. And this subject is completely a practical as well as a theory paper. And in this subject, we mainly focus on the decision-making techniques, the risk management, which is very much associated to the concept of finance of every organization and business. And we will be talking about how do we control budget. We will be we'll be learning about the cash budget, the flexible budget. And most importantly, what is focused on this finance subject is that we will be focusing on the 4 main areas of every business. That is the 4 M's, namely labor, machinery, man, and material. So we will be analyzing the cost for all these 4 factors of every production. And mainly, we will focus on the standard costing and other costing techniques in this chapter. So that's about the performance management subject in your 6th semester. The next elective in your 6th semester will be international auditing and assurance. Okay, so one thing before I talk about this subject, I would want to make it very clear to the accounts and the finance specialization students, whichever specializations you want to choose. When Sharmila ma'am was talking about the core papers, she mentioned about the subject called as principles and practices of auditing. So one thing I want to make it very clear, because the subjects sound very similar and common, one thing that I don't want to misunderstand the students is that the principles of practices of auditing is different and international auditing and assurance is different. There, ma'am mentioned already that it is the basic principles and introduction to concepts of how auditing must be introduced to a BCom level student. But while talking about it as an elective manner or as an elective finance specialization, here we're in the subject of auditing and assurance, we will be completely learning about the international standards of audit. Okay. Just like how you learn your accounting standards in the subject IFRS, which is the core paper, adding on to that, here we will be learning about the international standards of audit. And also we will be focusing on the audit procedures in the concept of an audit to be conducted in an organization. So as we all know, in a business firm or any organization for that matter, conducting audit at the end of every financial year is very important. And this subject, we will be completely learning about how each step of audit procedure is to be done in the right manner. We will also be learning about how do we focus on planning to avoid the various risk levels in the audit structure. We will be learning how to prepare documents, how to prepare reports, how auditor will review those reports and give a good audit feedback on the organization. And we will be learning about the audit regulations. And mostly importantly, we will be focusing on the internal control to get the audit procedure 100% right in every organization so that the auditor helps the organization to complete the task of audit successfully. And this paper is completely a theory paper in the finance elective. So that's about the subjects in the 5th semester and the 6th semester, which you all will be learning in the finance elective. So I will be moving on to the various career opportunities, which is very much available, especially for the BCom students and especially for students choosing the finance elective. When we are talking about a subject, when we're talking about an elective or when we're talking about a course, most important that flashes everyone's mind is that, will I be able to acquire the best career opportunity to frame my future better? And that's when I would be wanting to talk to you all about the career opportunities which is available. And if you all know finance, as we know, the basic idea that comes to everybody's mind is I can do better in a banking industry or I can do better in a finance industry. So over not just the banking and the finance industry, we also have various scope opportunities in the investment portfolios, such as your stock, your securities market, and various other investment portfolios like mutual funds, chit funds, like you've already had an introduction towards all these concepts in your stocks and commodity markets. So very likely saying there, you will also have a lot of importance given in the career opportunities with this elective. And you also have career opportunities in the non-banking financial corporations, because end of the day, it all deals with the financial perspective and also talking about the microfinance. And not just that, a little more extra information about the career opportunities, if I have to say today, as we all know, your corporate companies, your multinational companies today is really doing good in terms of finance. Okay. Your finance perspective is the core of every multinational company today to also elaborate and collaborate ourselves with the foreign collaboration and the foreign business. One more personal example, if I have to give you people about the career opportunities. For example, if you take companies like Goldman Sachs and a company like State Street, their main focus and their main life of foreign collaboration across the world and the foreign business across the world, the global collaboration with them is just leading them through a success of handling the best financial practices and the concepts which they follow. I hope this will really help you all in choosing the best elective as finance. And I also wish you all good luck to make your best choice of your electives to make a better future tomorrow. Good luck and God bless to all the students. Thank you all. Over to Sharmila ma'am now.
Thank you, Vanessa.
Thank
We
you.
will continue with the next elective, which is banking and insurance. I request Sushma ma'am to take over.
Yes, banking and insurance is a specialization other than accounts and finance that we offer every year for the BCom students to choose. Now, one common thing about all these 4 elective papers in banking and insurance is that they are all completely theory. It focuses with special attention to domain knowledge, specifically banking and insurance. If you observe the papers in 5th semester, you have one banking paper, one insurance paper. That's quite evident from the title of the papers itself. Similarly, in 6th semester, you will find retail banking and health insurance. If you banking and insurance students look at the matrix of your subjects, the way it is being structured, every semester you are given an exposure to a banking paper or an insurance paper. Correct? So moving forward, if you choose this banking and insurance is open to banking insurance students of BCom as well as BCom general students. This elective is open to both of them. I will come to the restrictions a little later. Now to brief you about these subjects, courses that we have to offer, to begin with international banking and Forex. So there are 2 components here. One is the international banking and the other is the Forex management. In this paper, you will be learning through some fundamentals about what is this international banking, how do the international capital markets function. See, as of now, at your fundamentals, you must be exposed to capital market, secondary markets, primary market. These things you have learned it as part of Indian financial system. Now, in this specialization, you move one step ahead. You are exposed to international banking and international capital markets. So whenever you have international exposure, by default, one of the common things that you have to be aware of is Forex market. So that is where you will learn through some units on foreign exchange and markets. Forex market, how is it in India? How did this complete exchange rate evolve over a period of time? We all must have observed that the exchange rate fluctuates every second. And if you look at a global level, all the exchange markets or the forex markets are functioning 24/7 with the effect of time zones that we have. So how do these things imply on the global scenario, as well as it introduces you to the fundamentals of what they are. Then you have the forex market. How does it function in India? How is it regulated by RBI? What is its intervention and rules and regulations? All these things you will go through in the international banking and forex management. Talking about marketing of insurance products, this is the second elective paper in your 5th semester. As I said, having learned a little bit of insurance salesmanship, you will be exposed to marketing in general. How does this complete intangible product called insurance, how does it work? What are the components which goes into pricing of an insurance policy, whether it is general or life or health insurance? So the components are understood. In turn, you will also learn which are the channels of distribution. How does advertising, what is the mechanism of advertising in case of insurance? Because insurance is not sold, it's rather solicited. How does this work is what you will understand in marketing of insurance products. So this gives you an very good idea about pursuing your career in marketing with special focus on insurance products or banking products. This is the paper which will give in some fundamentals to you. Moving on to the 6th semester, you have retail banking and health insurance. Retail banking is the business that is now what we have. We have from B2C, B2B businesses that functions. So retail banking is specifically B2C. And all of us are part of this retail banking. How does the fundamentals work? What is the mechanism of operating these retail banking products? What are the regulatory influences in retail banking? Now, you must have heard of KYC norms. You must have heard about the latest scam that is going around, that is with retail banking, phishing of people where they're misrepresenting, taking your OTPs, you are sending QR codes, and a lot of scam is going around. So all those things are part of retail banking, where such scams, advancement in technology, all these are taken into account in case of retail banking. Next thing that we have is health insurance. Health insurance is a whole gamut of insurance by itself. Life is very common. General insurance, I'm sure all of you having two-wheelers, four-wheelers will have general insurance. By default, you will have vehicle insurance. But health insurance, again, is an option. But that is another sector of business in insurance which is not explored in terms of job opportunities. But that is something which we are introducing you to it so that you are aware of something called as health insurance and how does it work. Okay, so this is what we have to learn in case of banking and insurance. Moving on to the career opportunities. Yes, you can explore job opportunities both in banking as well as insurance sector. You have investment banking options. That is where you have these derivatives forex experts who will work in investment banking. Next, we have insurance investigator, equity manager. Equity manager is again ALM role, that is asset liability management role that you will have. If you have to focus specifically on insurance, then you have insurance investigator, claims adjuster, claims processor. So these are all back-end operations jobs that you have to explore in insurance. Why I'm specifying this is because conventionally BCom students look at only accounts based or only finance restricted kind of jobs. Insurance is another sector which is opened up more than 2 decades now, but there are n number of opportunities to explore if your fundamentals are clear. So good that you are at least exposed to the basics of what is insurance, because you have learned insurance accounting, you're learning insurance as a concept as well. Credit analyst is again a position which you will get in insurance as well as in banking sector. sector where you evaluate the risk that you're taking up. I'm sure when you look at credit risk, you have the default risk of customers. I'm sure you learned it in banking. Next thing is customer acquisition. Customer acquisition is purely a sales profile where whether you're banking or insurance, customer acquisition is the business which will keep the business going and survive. So these are some various jobs that you can look at. These are basically designations, but there are a number of opportunities if you have to really explore in the field of banking and insurance. Over to Ms. Charmila.
Thank you, ma'am. I now request Ms. Savita to lead us through the marketing elective.
Yes. So good afternoon, all of you. So when we talk about marketing, so we all, I guess, you all would have studied marketing in your second semester, right? You all had a subject called marketing management. So when we talk about marketing, so first thing that we all should, like most of us think that it is only theory, right? Yes. So when you're studying, it is going to be theory. But when you're going to have a marketing as a career, then it is going to be full of practical. So you should understand the concepts of marketing here. So if you're going to specialize in marketing in your fifth semester, you're going to study about two important subjects. The first thing you all are going to study about is product and brand management. Okay, so what is this about product and brand? So you all would have studied about very briefly in your in your first years. You would have studied under the product mix, under the marketing mix. Maybe very briefly, you all would have studied about the 4 P's of marketing, right? So under this product and brand management, you all are going to study basically about, what is about this product development, how a product has to be developed in the market. So in the marketing, the main concept of marketing is we have to understand about the market, we should understand the customer needs, and then we have to work on it, right? So under this subject, we are going to study the main objective of this subject is to, give students knowledge about the basis of product management, okay, and then the various aspects which is relating to product development, product processing, and also it throws some light aspects about advertising also. So when we talk about brand management, there we are going to study about how to brand a product or how to brand a services, and what are the things that which is required for brand management. So in detail, you're going to study about product and brand management in your fifth sem. And the second theory paper which you have is consumer behavior. So again, consumer behavior is something which you need to understand in detail when you study about marketing. So after all, you all know that marketing aspects deals with consumers. Like how for business we call finance as a lifeblood, as for marketing we call consumers are the lifeline. Okay, so here we are going to study in detail about the customers, okay, how they behave while deciding to buy a product, and how to satisfy their needs. So we are going to study some theories which is related to consumer behavior here. And then also we are going to focus on, like consumer researching skills, okay, and their shopping skills. So based on that, we can understand the market and the products can be manufactured. So here we are, under consumer behavior, it is going to be purely about customer needs, their satisfaction, their wants, and basically it is going to be more of about consumers. And next, moving to your sixth semester, here again, you will be studying 2 core papers for marketing. The first important thing is services management. So it's also called as services marketing. So services marketing, I think you would have studied very briefly again under your marketing concept. But services marketing is a very interesting what do you say, subject as well under marketing, because here you're going to study entirely about the how the different services industries has evolved over a period of time. You will study about the 7 P's of services marketing, and then how to design a service line, how to make how to find out few strategies for developing your services. So basically it talks about in and around your services management. And then moving ahead, we have advertising and media management. So this paper is purely on advertising media. So basically, if you're interested to know more about media content, and it even talks about a career in advertising, as well as it focus on communication industry. So when we talk about media, you know what is more important, right? You should have some kind of basic skills, you know, like your personal skills or and all those things. So it even gives you some importance to learn about your, you know, about the communication. So basically, these are the 4 papers which you're going to cover up in your final year under your 5th sem and under your 6th semester. Now, moving forward, I would like to give you more talk about this career, careers in marketing, because more to know about subjects, I think you should be knowing about what is the, opportunities which you have when you choose, when you have done something, like marketing as a career. So if you can see there, we have a very limited thing there on the slides, but apart from that, we have, see now, when you take up any other field like production field or accounting field or finance field, all those things are slowly becoming automated these days. When I say automated, even without the help of human beings, work is being done. It is actually carried on. But marketing is one such field. Even to today, we need, like the personal touch. So we need people to do marketing. So marketing has been evolved and is evolving over a period of time. So if you choose marketing as your career, you should be prepared to evolve. Okay. So now when we have to talk about the careers in marketing, I think you have varied scope. So marketing is not only there only in marketing, sales, promotion. It is there everywhere. Okay, now right from your public relations. So we all know who's called as a PR, right? So PR is called as a public relations executive. So basically they are the professionals, okay, who will be responsible for developing, implementing or monitoring various things in and out, which is required for the day-to-day working of a company. So if you have a career in, if you're going to have a career in marketing, then PR is also one of your, major scope, which is actually a growing field now. And then you can even become a media planner and event planners. This event management, which is the happening field now. So if you're really interested to become, if you want to plan an event, okay, for there also you actually require the skills of marketing. So marketing is not only about, buying, selling goods or services. It does not actually, restrict there. So marketing is more than that. So if you're becoming an event planner, you'll be the coordinator, you'll be the specialist who'll be responsible for organizing, managing every aspect of an event. And coming to media, so media, without marketing, I guess there is no media. So marketing is like the core of me, in the media. So as a planner, as a media planner, or as a brand strategist, you will work at various advertising agencies. Okay, and then what is your main work there? You will be creating ad campaigns for your clients. So these are apart from all these things, you have even now in case what basically marketers do. Do you think they are only involved in, like distributing or selling the products? If you think so, it is absolutely wrong. So marketing itself is a strategy. It is being used in various fields. Like maybe if you think about in the business analytics field, it is there. It is there in media. It is there in making ads. When we talk about web, like designing, web designing, your e-commerce, e-business. So everywhere, marketing plays a very vital role. So overall, it is going to be fun, and also it is going to be hard because it's going to be a changing environment. It is not something that you're going to study tomorrow and apply it. Okay, so marketing basically involves to work with people. So you should be ready to, be yourself, that, you have to be, like you have to work with smart people. You should be working with creative people. So it's like you will not have a standard time. Basically, it's not that you can log in at 9 o'clock and log out at 5 o'clock. So basically it's a field work. you have to get onto the field, you should understand people. So you will have to work for long hours. And if you people are really interested for traveling, okay, then I think marketing also helps you to give you, you can visit a lot of places. Okay, so frequent travels are also possible. And the one field where you'll never be bored, because it will be keep on changing. It is not something which is going to be constant. Okay, your work will demand so, because you're going to meet a lot of people on a day-to-day basis. So if you ask me what are the different kinds of skills that which is vital for a marketer, so basically when you're studying itself, you can actually develop on all these things. So the basically you should have the key skills like communication skills, problem solving skills. So if you ask me about the marketing specific skills, then you should understand the customer, about the negotiating policies, about influencing policies. And maybe the other important areas of knowledge can be about the product knowledge, about the business environment. So all these are the vital skills which is required for a marketer. And then if you ask me why to choose marketing as a career, so as I told you, like any other field, now I'm not talking about finance, accounts, or generally, but I'm just saying that for marketing there is always scope. So marketing provides you with a great diversity of opportunities which is there, not only in India but also in abroad also. So what if you ask me about the growth in the field of marketing? So you have various job of opportunities which has lined up. So as I told you, you will have job opportunities everywhere. You will have it in a hospital, in hospital industry. You will have it in exporting, importing firms. You will have it in marketing research, product management field. You can even become a professional sales and food marketing industry, which is happening now. And you have this fashion merchandising field. So you have, see now, the list will go on. So as you all know that marketing is like never ending process. It has been there in all the fields. And then if you talk about the job levels in marketing, so you will have at entry level, you will have at maybe after a few years, once you gain some knowledge, you will have you might require a little higher level of skill of of making decisions. And finally, you can, even after a few years of experience, you can even become a specialist in this field. So that is all about marketing. And then one important thing which I have to tell you is, in case if you people are passionate about technology, all right, and then if you have an increasing impact on people's lives every day, and if you feel that you have the creativity in you, then I think you should choose digital marketing as your career, because I know that most of you are aware of digital marketing today, and you know what is the importance of digital marketing. So it is one of the exciting career which is happening today. And because of constant changes with the technology and the competition, so we will have a constant interaction with advertisers and vendors. So it is, I must say, it is one of the booming sectors which is there for, which is actually poised for huge growth in the future as well as now. So you can also expect good payment, okay, when you're working as a digital marketer. So digital marketing, there are various actually job opportunities which is there. So you can become a search engine marketer, you can become a blogger. If you're interested in social media, you can definitely try out for digital marketing. Okay, so that's it with regard to marketing. Over to Sharmila ma'am.
Thank you, Ms. Savita. Thank you. We will continue with Sushma ma'am. Ma'am, kindly take over.
Yes, these are some of the things which I want all the students to please pay attention. Please note the electives open for BCom general students includes accounts, finance, banking, and insurance. So BCom general students will not be able to take up marketing. However, BCom banking and insurance students, please note, you can choose only finance or marketing or banking and insurance. So Banking and insurance students do not have the option of choosing accounts to proceed. So I repeat, BCom general students cannot choose marketing. BCom banking and insurance students cannot choose accounts as their specialization. The course is structured in such a way that it takes care of completely preparing you, equipping you for higher studies or career progression in your area of interest. Okay? Yes. Can we proceed? Conditions. After this, at the end of this session, we will be posting the Google form, which you are supposed to fill for your registrations for the specializations on or before 22nd. That is by this weekend. For any specialization to be done, executed, we require a minimum of 40 students in each class. So please note this. We've had situations in the past where some specializations we've had 10 or 20 students out of all the 4 sections put together, 10 or 20 students choosing a particular specialization. So in such cases, we cannot allocate resources separately for those 10 or 20 students. Next thing is allotment of student specializations and now register numbers. Yeah, all account students will come into one group, and from finance or any other marketing or insurance that you choose, you will be distributed across 4 sections in the order of your specializations and register numbers. So we'll not be able to entertain any personal requests of change in the allotment. Yeah, next slide, please. Change of decisions will not be allowed. The Google form is structured in such a way that once you feed your or enter your choice or specialization, you cannot change it. So we are not here to, we do not encourage changes in your decision. So please take time, spend time, discuss, think, and then choose your specialization. And once you choose any specialization, say example, in 5th semester, you choose accounts. And after going through the 5th semester, you realize you're not able to manage account specialization. You cannot switch over to any other specialization in the 6th semester. You choose accounts now, you complete your BCom degree with account specialization. Same the case if you choose marketing now, you complete your 5th and 6th semester with marketing papers as well as the regular core papers. And the last thing, please note, students who do not choose any specialization within 22nd of May this month, if we receive any Excel sheet where we find that the students have actually not filled in their specialization, for those students, the department will decide their specialization. So we will finally fit you wherever we think you can manage to learn and sail through BCom. Is this clear? Yeah. Next.
That's it, ma'am.
Yeah. Then can we conclude with the vote of thanks, Sharmila?
Yes, ma'am. Can we open the session for a few minutes for student queries, Penny?
Okay, I can see some raise of hands, so I'll allow them to talk.
Yes, ma'am. Students who have queries or some concerns, you can share it now.
Netravati, you can unmute your microphone. Have enabled Netravati, Chandana and Amuda who raised hands. You can unmute and talk. Chandana, yes?
Ma'am, it's compulsory to take specialization, ma'am.
Yes, it is compulsory. You have to choose any one of them. We have given you 4. You are BCom general or banking?
General, ma'am.
Yes, you will have to choose between accounts, finance or marketing.
Okay, ma'am.
Yes. Amuda, can you please unmute and talk?
Sorry, ma'am, by mistake, ma'am.
Okay, Netravati? Abdul, you have to unmute.
Yes, ma'am. I want to know someone from general is not allowed to do marketing. There's no way.
General students choosing marketing.
Yes. Is that possible?
No, it's not possible. You have to choose between accounts, finance, or banking and insurance.
Oh my goodness.
Okay.
Okay, all right.
Joshua?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes.
Ma'am, I didn't get what you said about minimum 40 students, ma'am. Can you explain that again, ma'am?
Now see all the 4 sections put together. We should have a minimum of 40 students choosing finance, or a minimum of 40 students who are choosing banking and insurance. Then we will be able to offer banking and insurance as a specialization. Now, if 5 students out of 350, 5 students choose marketing, we cannot give marketing to them because we cannot allocate separate resources and all. Okay. Yes, Dimitri, you should unmute your microphone.
Yes, mom. Mom, there is no way to do economy.
Sorry?
I'm saying that there is no way to do economy instead of finance and banking insurance.
We do not have economics in BCom as of now. You have to choose, since you are a general student, you have to choose accounts, finance, or banking and insurance.
Okay, thank you, mom.
Yeah. Do we have any more questions? Anybody? Okay, somebody is requested to see the career opportunities for account students. Can we show that slide, Sharmila?
Yes, ma'am.
Career opportunities for accounts.
Accounts, ma'am.
Yes. These career opportunities, again, are just a few names that we have put up. You have n number of opportunities, and now with the MNCs and BPOs and KPOs in the market, you have very fancy designations. So, but it all revolves around accounts-based jobs, starting with accounts payables, accounts receivables, reconciliations of BRS. So these are just a glimpse of the vast opportunities that you have. I guess that's about it. Can we proceed, Sharmila?
Yes, ma'am. Hope is a beautiful thing, and hope is the only thing which gives us peace and strength, keeps us going when all seems lost, especially amidst this pandemic and chaos. My thanks to the Almighty for bringing us together in our efforts to work towards the future. May He bless all our endeavors. My sincere thanks to our HOD, Professor Sushma Shri, for her consistent efforts in the betterment of students. Thank you, ma'am, for initiating this program for students. It is much needed for them.
Thank you.
I extend my gratitude to my colleagues for their inputs and efforts relentlessly. A big thank you to Mr. Chandan, the IT manager of IADCA, for collaborating in all our efforts and extending a helpful hand. Finally, the VIPs of this program, my dear loving students, I thank all of you who have joined us today. I hope you have gained some clarity about specializations and kindly choose wisely. May God bless you all with good health, peace, and wisdom. Take care and stay safe. Thank you once again.
Students, please note in the chat box, Anbarasi ma'am has posted the Google form. It is important that each and every one of you and those who are absent to this session should fill this Google form. Only then your specializations will be registered. Please note it in the chat box. Thank you all. Have a good evening.
Ma'am, just to add on,
Yes.
the Google form link will be shared by the respective class teachers in the classroom as well.
Okay, good.
That is for the benefit of those who didn't attend the session.
Yes, please. Yes.
Okay, ma'am.